No parent deserves to pick up the ashes of her child. Saloni Heart Foundation is a promise to Saloni we lost. It is the grit and determination of the 13-year-old born with a birth defect, multiple surgeries, and yet the passion to live and dreams she has left behind. It is a pledge to those parents whose child suffer from congenital heart defect and have nowhere to go.
Saloni was my daughter's best friend in school, and I've seen her struggle through her heart condition. The motivation behind starting Saloni Heart Foundation was so that no other kid has to go through what Saloni has gone through.
Saloni Heart Foundation is a foundation of hope and of help.
The number one goal is to help parents of kids who have heart condition easily be able to get second opinion from the world's best doctors.
We have the privilege of connecting some of the parents in India with the best cardiologists here in the United States to get their questions answered, help them to make some informed decisions for their own child's care.
I think that's what's so amazing about Saloni's Heart Foundation, and I know that a major mission of this foundation really is to get as unbiased data as possible from people who have no financial interest.
Saloni always wanted to become a doctor when she grew up. So the second goal of the foundation is to help kids in India become doctors.
एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि हम एक बच्चे को उसकी मेडिसिन की MBBS की पढ़ाई के लिए 5 साल के लिए स्कॉलरशिप देते हैं। ये मेरी बेटी का सपना था।
Our foundation also seeks to bring knowledge sharing in the field of pediatric cardiology in India.
The third goal is to help doctors in India get better access to resources so that they are better equipped to treat patients like Saloni in India.
It is a vision that one day every child with complex heart condition has access to the world's leading specialists and they are able to lead a happy, healthy life they deserve.
This is Dana Harris-Seeger, the juror for the Art4Heart art competition. I wanted to talk a little bit about my jurying criteria and how difficult it was to actually choose winners. In each age category, I chose 5 winners. The overall best, the best quality of craftsmanship, most creative, most effort, and most closely related to the theme. For the most closely related to the theme, I chose works that really spoke about the Art4Heart theme and what heart means to them. Some of them were family, some of them were emotions, and some of them were spreading love out into the world. For the most creative, I chose works that thought a little bit outside the box, that maybe interpreted the theme a little bit differently or put a different spin on it. For the most effort, I chose works that really showed a lot of time and effort and work that went into them. Some of them were very detailed, and some of them had very high quality of skill and a dedication to their craft and the materials that they chose. For the best craftsmanship and quality of work, I chose pieces that showed a very high ability of rendering and handling of the materials, whether that was watercolor paint or graphite pencil or any other medium. For the overall best, I chose works that embodied all of these aspects. They clearly represented the theme. They They showed a great deal of effort. They used high quality in craftsmanship and a mastery of the materials, and they were very creative. It was a real pleasure to jury this competition, and I thank you for the opportunity. It was a very difficult decision, and I congratulate everyone who put work in and put their work out there.
My name is Anushka, and Saloni was one of my closest friends. This art was created by me and some of her other friends before she passed away, as a mark of everlasting friendship, pain, and love. If you notice, there are 9 parts to the heart, because each of our friends made one specific piece of the puzzle, and the centerpiece was made by us all. It was our own unique message to show our love for her. The piece on the right was a piece of art that Saloni made when she was 11 years old. Even at that young age, she was already very creative and talented.
I'd like to go through and talk about each piece and announce the winners. In the first category, age 7 and under, for best relation to the theme, we have Art4Heart C. I really like the projection of the small heart into the larger heart, as well as the multiple lines of the main heart, which I feel accentuated and draw attention. Next, we have best quality of work and craftsmanship. The piece by Pragya Viswanathan was very nicely drawn and showed control over her medium with a great attention to detail.
Hi, my name is Yeji Kim, and I'm a nurse, and I work at Lucille Packard Stanford Children's Hospital.
Hi everybody, I'm Lillian Suma, pediatric cardiac ICU physician, also at Stanford. I think it's important to note just that the opinions that Yeji and I are going to express during the video are not reflective of Stanford University, but just reflect their own opinions. But I think we're both happy to be with you guys today.
Nice to see everyone, and we are just super excited to share a little bit about heart diseases and just what makes a heart healthy versus not. A lot of the questions that we get is, what is congenital heart disease? That question comes up very frequently. Well, if you think about it, congenital means that's present at birth. So this means that babies are born with a heart that hasn't either formed completely, or certain pieces are missing, or there's certain holes in different types of irregular pathways. They're born with this type of issue, and in the CVICU, cardiac ICU, I get to take care of all of these babies, and eventually they grow up to be middle school, high school adults one day, if all goes well. So I'd love to share more about this as we go on.
Yeah, and I think what's really important is to recognize how far the field has gone in congenital heart disease and congenital heart surgery, and how surgeons have really become these amazing artists, plumbers, technicians, and they can really use the materials that kids were born with and give them a kind of plumbing that is compatible with hopefully a long and healthy life. So Yeji, you've been a nurse now for how many years, and what kind of got you involved in being a cardiac nurse, and what do you enjoy about your day?
Well, I have been a pediatric cardiac nurse for about 5 years now. And it has just been so fun, so challenging, and just such a blessing to be able to help these kids recover from open heart surgery and live a nice, happy, fulfilling life. A lot of the times, these babies do come out of the operating room with, pretty invasive surgery, but after hopefully just a few days in the ICU, they can recover and move on to a different type of unit that helps prepare them for a normal life at home. A lot of the times, it's important to mention that these kids are just very resilient, and they go through tremendous length to go back to how they were previously before surgery, and in the sense that they can still go to school, they can still be interactive with their friends, and do a lot of activities just like you and I. So my day consists of taking care of these babies and toddlers, pretty much any age group. I help them with their medications, making sure that they're safe, that their pain is managed, that we can kind of help them get back to normal. And that includes helping them walk again after surgery, being in bed for so long, helping them eat, and just kind of normalize their life to make sure they're safe and healthy after they leave us. And what about you, Lillian? How did you get involved in this such a specialized role?
Well, I've always really enjoyed taking care of kids, and I think that this population of kids are especially strong, and I think every day they teach us a little bit about human strength and human capacity, and the ability to recover from life's challenges. And so I feel really blessed to be able to work in a unit like ours, where we see really, really complex cases where our surgeons really have to do a lot of amazing work to work with what the kids have to hopefully restore the plumbing, kind of restore the circuitry so that it's ideal and these kids can be really healthy. And I've been now at Stanford for my 4th year, and before that I was in Washington, D.C. for several years. And I think every case, every child is so different, the way they respond to surgery and life's challenges. So it's always really interesting and really a privilege to be able to do that.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
Every child and every situation is very unique and special to that certain kid. So that also makes our job really fun and interesting. No 2 days are the same. So that's what I love about our unit. It's always keeping us on our toes and excited for future advances in the medical field. So I guess, can you touch on kind of like what it means for a kid to get this type of surgery?
Yeah, these surgeries are really long and complex, and some of them are as short as a few hours, and some of them are basically 20 to 24-hour surgeries. So obviously the recovery from such a long event that's really stressful on your body, where the heart has to sometimes be stopped completely so that the surgeon can operate, it's really critical that the surgeon have a really good team around him in the operating room, managing the body and the patient while the heart is not working. They're actually on a kind of heart-lung machine to keep blood flowing in their body because their heart itself is not pumping. So it's obviously a very complicated repair, and the recovery can be pretty tough on some kids. And so you and I are just there as physicians and nurses trying to get these kids safely through that recovery period.
In the next category, the 8 to 12-year-olds, we have Diksha Mehta, and I really like how the moon seems to glow around the 4 main characters. At first, I noticed the birds, which stood out with contrast against the sky, and then the swing with the 2 figures comes into view. It's very nicely drawn and has a great use of composition. The next piece by Diksha Mehta has a great use of pastel. I really get a sense of the scene and the mood of the setting sun. This piece by Nikhil Sahu makes me happy. I think elephants are one of the cutest animals, and this painting shows the artist's ambitions to celebrate as well as preserve all life. Next, we have the winner for the best quality of work and craftsmanship. This piece had a really nice handling of materials, as well as precision of line and shading. I really like how this next piece by Annika Gopalan made the background a pattern. It seems like it took a great effort and time. The pixelation of the background also relates to our time and place, taking a digital idea and making it into a drawing. Great thinking out of the box. The next piece by Ishanvi Natala was a very clear picture with great intention, and it was very nicely drawn as well. I like how this next image by Vrishra Patel took one image, the flower that she saw, and started to turn it into another, the bird. Creativity can be like that, starting in one direction and then letting the piece take you where it wants to go. Next, we have the winner for the overall best in this category. This piece by Sneha Thayaparan really captured me. The drawing skills are excellent, and the message really comes across, that when one has love, especially love for oneself, one has wings and confidence to do anything. This next piece by Swathi Thayaparan, I really liked the colors, which are reminiscent of a stained glass window. And in that type of artwork, the whole is made up of broken pieces and form a whole picture, which is a bit like the description for this artwork. I thought it was really nicely thought out. Next, we have the winner for most creativity. Kalvi J's picture thought really out of the box. Creativity is about thinking differently and expressing your true ideas and feelings, and I feel this image captures that. For best relation to the theme, I chose Nithin Kumar's picture, which shows that a mother's love is universal, and it symbolizes all kinds of love across cultures. Plus, it's very nicely drawn, and the rendering skills are excellent. This next piece by Rithik Verma was very nicely drawn and had a great relation to the theme. It showed a nice attention to detail, and the heart really showed out and stood out against the background. Next, the winner for most effort. This piece by Swetha Sura looks like it really took a lot of time and effort. She really thought about the theme that went along with the little bird holding the heart, and the graphite pencil is really nicely rendered and shows attention to proportion, form, and value. I really resonated with this last piece by Amrita Kandadai for the unusual use of materials. The collage is nicely layered, and the colors were definitely well thought out.
For the next artist, Shruti Ganesh, I really appreciate how this artist took the idea of keys to a new level, unlocking emotions. It's a really great visual cue and reminds us that we have power over how we deal with circumstances, that events shouldn't dictate our emotions.
I think maybe we should talk about what a normal heart looks like for the people who are part of this art competition today. And Yiji, you're actually an amazing artist, and I've been lucky enough to work with you on this book. And here are some images from some of the drawings that you did. And so I'm going to show the normal heart. Do you want to take us through it?
Sure. So here is a normal heart that you and I are blessed to have. Basically, like Lillian was saying, this is all plumbing, and the inner workings of the heart just kind of flow depending on your normal anatomy. So when you look at the blue side, the blue picture depicts deoxygenated blood. That means that the blood was used from the body, the oxygen was absorbed and taken, and then it drains back into the heart so that it can go to the lungs to get reoxygenated and then out to your body again. So this is a continuous cycle that helps us survive every day, every second. The blood from your upper part of your body is deoxygenated, so the body has already used the oxygen from it. It drains into the top portion, which is called the SVC, and you see the blue arrow saying from upper body, that drains into the right side of your heart. So this means the right side. If you picture yourself kind of flipped, where the right side is going to be, the left side that you're seeing now is actually the right side of your body when it comes to your heart.
AG. AG. Oh, it's my internet.
Oh, okay.
I have to go on my phone's internet now. Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Wait,
But
you want
then
to
we
just
can't
redo that
share
part?
anything?
Huh?
Yeah, can I start over with the heart thing? Should I
Yeah.
just be more simple? Too complicated?
Yeah, I would just, yeah, because these are high school kids. Okay.
Okay. So this isn't, are we recording?
Yeah.
So this is a normal heart. And you can see that I've colored the pieces that are blue. That means that the body has already absorbed the oxygen from that blood. And so it goes back into the heart in order to go and get reoxygenated. And you get that by going into your lungs and returning back into your body. So if you follow just the pathway, because it is plumbing pretty much, the top and bottom blue sections go into this right upper part of your heart, into your right bottom part of your heart, and then it goes out into your lungs. There it gets its oxygen, and then both come back into the left upper part of your heart, into the left bottom part of your heart, and those are where the red arrows are. This goes into your aorta, which is a very large vessel in your body that gives this oxygenated blood back to your body. So this is a cycle that's just like always just going around and around, and that's basically how we our body and our heart functions.
And I guess it's important for us to note that for these hearts to stay healthy, obviously, you know, we advocate that people do some exercise, at least, you know, walking around every single day, getting out of their house and with their mask on, taking some healthy walks and some running and some physical activity, and then avoiding as much sugar as possible and processed foods. Those are some tips for general heart health. Maybe we can talk about your second picture, which is a VSD. Can you see that?
So here we have one of the very common heart defects that we see in the congenital heart disease world. Note how where the previous picture there was only red and blue coloring, now we have some purple. So there is a hole in the bottom two chambers of your heart. And this hole is called a ventricular septal defect, VSD for short. This hole allows communication between both sides of the heart that typically aren't supposed to communicate with each other. So I colored it purple because if red mixes with blue, then you get purple. So that there you can see that two areas that weren't meant to mix are now mixing. And these kids do need surgery ultimately. The hole is patched up by the surgeon, and they go back to living a normal life just like you and I after, if all goes well with the surgical operation.
That's great. I think we should also just note that these pictures are obviously artistic renderings and not meant to be used for medical or health advice. Obviously, you should consult a physician or a healthcare provider. But these are just beautiful artistic interpretations by Yeji so that you guys can have a better understanding of how the blood actually flows in the heart. Should we do one more?
Yeah, we could do one more.
Okay.
So this one is a little more complicated, but you can see that this is called the coarctation of the aorta. Like I mentioned, the aorta is this big vessel that's gonna give all this nutritious oxygenated blood to the rest of your body, but where the arrow shows the coarctation, it's a narrowing in the aorta. So this just creates a little bit more of a difficult time for the blood to get to the rest of the body. These patients do need surgery as well to either get rid of that tiny little constricting area, or the surgeon can patch it and make it a bigger piece so that blood can flow more easily. I think it's just important to note that there are so many different ways a patient or someone can be born with a heart defect. You can have multiple variations of defects in one. A lot of times these babies don't just have one type of defect, they have many in one. So, but there is a lot of great technology and educational different pieces of work that we do in the hospital that can really help these kids live a normal life just like you and I. But because we are born with a normal heart, I think it's very important to, take care of our bodies that we were blessed with, and also just remember that these kids are normal and want to be loved and want to be your friends as well too. So it's not that they're different. They might be in some ways, but overall they're just like you and I.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways each of us are different in our own way, and that's why we're special, and that's what makes humans different than robots, where robots can be built all the same. So maybe just in close, we could talk a little bit about our book and the fact that we were lucky enough to collaborate with Saloni Heart Foundation in the sense that we'll be giving away 10% of profits. So let me stop sharing here. And I'm just going to show people the book. And Yeji and I, Yeji was the artist for this book, and it's filled with all sorts of beautiful pictures and lots of anatomy and physiology questions, and really meant for the frontline provider for these kids so that everybody can have a better understanding of congenital heart disease and the physiology of it and the anatomy. So if there's anybody out there that wants to learn more about congenital heart disease, you can think about buying the book. And we're really happy that we can give some of the proceeds to Saloni Heart Foundation, which is just such an amazing foundation in Saloni's honor.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, bring to everyone's attention that just because you love science, it doesn't mean you can't be an artist as well. There are many different ways that you can be creative and combine all of your passions into one. And this is just one example of how I was able to bridge my love for art and my love for science and helping others, and bring it all together to be a CVICU nurse who also helped create a book. So just the possibilities are endless, and I encourage everybody to just have a great time today, drawing pictures and getting creative and just really thinking about different ways that we can use hearts as a medium for art.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for your time, and Yeji and I look forward to maybe meeting you guys one day, maybe after COVID has gone away. We can finally all meet in person and celebrate Saloni and her life.
Yes, sounds great. Thank you so much. Good luck, you guys.
Good luck. Bye.
Bye.
In the next age category, 13 through 17, I like how the artist Jessica Burieshi transformed a two-dimensional drawing into something that looks three-dimensional with a tessellated heart. Very clean and nicely colored. The winner for the most effort is Rishabh Sahu, with a very nice handling of watercolor, which is not easy and shows a lot of time and skill, as well as thinking about the theme as it can relate to current events. The winner for best quality of work and craftsmanship in this category is Anjali Sinha. This work is very nicely drawn and quite consistent with the theme. I like how the heart is outlining the baby's feet, further emphasizing the feelings of love all families have for each other. There's also an impressive use of materials and quality of drawing. Next, we have the winner for most creativity. This piece by Darini Vamathavan makes me very happy. The character is playful and positive and speaks about how joyful life can be. The foreshortening of the arm is also really well done and adds action to the picture, as if she's moving and the artist has captured a moment in time. This next piece by Mithali Iyer is the one I chose for the overall best. To me, it shines very brightly. It is well rendered, and the color really shows the focus of the little heart. The description resonates with the theme as well. I really like this next piece by Vanessa Burieshi. The use of delicate shading within the lines of the heart reminds me of a jewel or a stained glass window with the light shining from within. This piece by Daniel Kumar has a very nice attention to detail and shows a lot of patience. For best relation to the theme, I chose Johanna Kumar's picture, Blowing Love into the World. I feel like it's a very creative and descriptive imagining of the theme. I love how all it takes is one person to spread so much love. There's also a nice shading of the hearts, and the mixture of the different drawing materials is very well done. I like how this piece by Aurora, the heart seems to pulse against the dark background. She really did a great job of showing contrast and emphasizing the main subject. And this piece by Maxwell Zhao, I like the sketchy lines. It relates well to the description of the concept.
And I know Millie and Himanshu from the time that Himanshu and I worked together in HP. I'm so happy that I was able to get associated with Saloni Heart Foundation. I think both Himanshu and Millie are amazing in the way that they have actually taken something that was such a big tragedy into their lives, and they are helping others, and I feel very much a part of their mission. And I really hope that together and with Saloni Heart Foundation, not only can we serve the memory of Saloni in a very meaningful manner, but also really help cure children in India who are suffering from CHD, as well as help support children who want to study and become surgeons, especially cardiothoracic surgeons in the future. All the very best, and I hope to continue to remain part of this beautiful effort that Saloni, Himanshu and Millie have started.
The last age group of 18 and above, we have The winner for Most Creativity. This piece and its description really speak about the efforts of the Saloni Heart Foundation, how much more still needs to be done, but also how much has already been done. I like how the design is out of the box and very creative. For best relation to the theme, I chose this piece by Iara. I really appreciate how the artist used the simple structure of the hands and the heart to show the delicate balancing act of being a human. I also think her use of three-dimensional material around the heart and hands is useful in drawing my eye and attention there. For most effort, the winner is Hardy Pika Birdie. Wow, this piece shows an enormous amount of effort and dedication. The attention to detail with all the tiny little rectangle lines and precision, as well as the meaningful relation to the theme, really impressed me. And last, the winner for best quality of work and craftsmanship goes to Minu Set. This piece showed a great attention to detail. It was lovingly rendered and very carefully drawn.